a vocal advocate for increasing transparency from the government when it comes to identified flying objects. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, ma'am. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. The latest report shows the government cannot explain 171 of these sightings. What do you think those could be?
Well, I've been a believer in the phenomena for a long time. I'm a Christian. I'm not a very good one. I read my Bible, and first chapter of Ezekiel is pretty clear of a UFO sighting. Of course, it's written from King James version and it's translated from earlier words. But the reality is, as you're seeing on the screen right now, that is something that is defying any of our capabilities at all. If you were a human and make the turns that have been seen in some of this footage, you would literally turn into a ketchup package. I mean, you would be gone.
When I read Grush's report that's public, that anyone can read, in the report he described that one of the theories is that what we're encountering are beings that are extra-dimensional or interdimensional. Well, in a lot of different scriptures, including the Bible and others, that's really the way that you describe messengers of God, or angels. And so they may not fit exactly the biblical narrative, but whenever I use the term angels, to me it's synonymous with an extra-dimensional being. Grush's report that's public, that anyone can read. In the report he described that one of the theories is that what we're encountering are beings that are extra-dimensional or interdimensional. Well, in a lot of different scriptures, including the Bible and others, that's really the way that you describe.
I want to say shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in his gospel, abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. This is just a quick lesson through the spirit. I just showed two videos. Well, I'll play the rest of this video because it cut off any other one. But basically, Esau was finally admitting that the so-called UFOs, and I say so-called because that's what Esau calls them. He calls them unidentified flying objects, or UAPs, which means unidentified area phenomenon, which brothers, I've seen them. We've seen them. They've flown over the camp. We've seen them in Chicago. I've seen them driving down the street, coming out of buildings. I mean, one time I was in a park. This was probably during the time of the shutdown in 2020. I was in a park actually doing a lesson on the chariots, and as I was doing a lesson, one took off like from behind a tree and flew right over me, man. I was like, wow, Lord is dope, But now they're finally admitting that these so-called UFOs are indeed the angels, or another way that he mentioned was messengers, which angel means messenger. Okay, these beings, they call them interdimensional or extra dimensional beings, which you go into extra dimensional meaning they have the ability to teleport and sit in and out of different realms or different universes or different dimensions, so to speak. Okay, like you got the third dimension, which right now we're in the third dimension. Okay, this physical world. Okay, up, down, left, right. This is a third dimensional world. Okay, fish, in many cases, they live in a, I would say almost like a two-dimensional world, so to speak, within a third dimensional world, because the fish, I mean, they can turn around, you know, and they can do things, but you don't ever see a fish really go upside down and tumble in the water unless it, you know, it does. But overall, they're contained in a particular dimension due to their particular realm that they're in. But these fourth dimensional beings, being the angels of the Heavenly Father, they defy the rules of this world, okay? And like he made mention in Ezekiel, the first chapter, if you don't see that these things are mentioned in the Bible by reading Ezekiel, the first chapter, then you're just pretty much lost and you're not paying attention, and the spirit may not be dealing. Because when you read Ezekiel, the first chapter, which we're going to get a couple of precepts out of that pretty much described what they were seeing on the TV or on these particular sightings that they received. Okay, because the chariot, it don't have to make a hard right. It can literally go at full speed and make a right, make a left, upside down, underneath, you know, disappear. Those are fourth dimensional abilities, man. Okay, versus in the third dimensional sense, man, if I was to drive a vehicle going 120 miles an hour and I try to make a left turn, the car will really flip over because it's not designed to handle that type of force or V-force, G-force. You see? So the Most High is getting ready to release some shit, and these devils, they're getting scared. Okay, and they're really watching our videos because literally years ago, we was getting scoffed at for saying, oh, y'all believe in aliens, y'all believe that UFOs are angels. We was literally getting scoffed at. Motherfuckers are scoffers on a comment board that talk shit. You know, y'all talking about the Lord gonna come back with some UFOs. Y'all crazy. You know, motherfuckers talk all types of shit about us. But now that the so-called white man is actually revealing these things through the words of the prophets, now everybody is hopping on board. Okay, because they went to declassify this back in 2021 based on the account that everybody was catching these things on camera, on their camera phone. And people call undeniable footage, to the point Esau like, you know what, let's declassify it, but we got to put our spin on it. That way we get control of the narrative. But clearly you lost control of the narrative. All right, because out here in Missouri in particular, they said that Missouri is really a hotbed. Missouri and Kansas is a hotbed for chariots. You go to certain Facebook groups, they have particular groups for this specific demographic of the country that's specified to watching. They call them UFO watchers. You know, you can find it on Facebook. It's like a group. People believe in it. They think they're alien, and some people think they're intergalactic beings. But overall, we have the complete understanding on what these things are, okay? And this thing is going to come back and destroy your world right along with those missiles. So, yeah, brothers, man, we're in a time. Things are being revealed, and Cherry is going to pull up any day. So let's get a couple of precepts, and I'll play the rest of this video. But also, I saw a video that a brother posted too. Let me see if I can find it again. Give me 1 second. It was down my timeline. Sometimes things disappear. 22 hours ago. I was just looking at it, but I didn't click on it. Give me 1 second, brother. Salakia. So what happens when you subscribe to so many brothers, man? Things get lost in transit. All right, let me try to refresh it and find it. 4 pond. That's another one, not that one though. That's the one that the brother did. Damn. I just saw it. GMS News a month. See, this the bullshit I'm talking about. Like, 1 minute it was here, then all of a sudden now it's not there anymore. But I'm going to find it. Give me a second. I'm going to find it. Matter of fact, let's do it here. This is not the one, but this is actually a good one too. So let's play this.
Hold on, B. We gonna get this work.
Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing flying in the sky?
Now, one thing reason I don't know about that is because I don't know if chariots leave that type of vapor behind. You know, I'm used to planes living chemtrails and stuff like this, but that's kind of strange. I mean, it could be, but I've never seen chariot leave those behind. But then I could be wrong about that. But
Bro, I don't know what that is. What? It's flying over downtown. Oh, snap.
maybe. Seeing it just a troll for me, but I mean at the same time I'm not gonna deny it because shit, the chariots come in different shapes and forms. It was another one I was looking for, but I don't see it no more. Oh well, I guess it wasn't meant. But anyway, let's go here, get a couple of precepts here, and I did a comparative analysis between Ezekiel 1 and the King James Version and the New Living Testament. Now, I don't agree with this July 31st shit. That's some folly. July 31st. It wasn't there wasn't no such thing as July in Ezekiel's time. Okay? And that's Esau Edom trying to, play fucking the Most High, man. But it says here, now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month. And I don't know what the hell they get July 31st. Of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Chabar, when I saw that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of the power. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jonathan's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of Chaldeans by the river Chabar. And the hand of Yahweh was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind coming out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof was the color of amber, and out of the midst of the fire. Okay, so this is describing a ship. Now we go to 4 in the New Living Testament. It says, as I looked, I saw a great storm coming from the north, because the chariots produces thunders and lightnings. It says a great storm coming from the north, driving before the huge cloud that flashed with lightning and shone with brilliant light. There was a fire inside the cloud, and in the middle of the fire glowed something like a gleaming amber. Okay? And it says that from the center of the cloud came 4 living beings that looked human. So these are those particular hybrids that he was talking about. So let me look up what he said. What did he say? Extra dimensional being. Interdimensional. Interdimensional, let me see it here, being interdimensional. Interdimensional being. Okay, interdimensional UFO hypothesis. And then they go into all this alien bullshit, which we know that the angels are not aliens. I mean, you can call them aliens because they're foreign or strange to the common human, but they're not Marv the Martian looking cats, man. Okay, you ain't gonna have no angels hopping out of the chariots looking like this. Though the Most High do have spirits and angels that could look like this, but nonetheless, Esau wants to demonize it. Okay, he just said they look like 4 living beings, man. Okay, meaning they look like Israelites. Now the angels can take on different shapes and forms. Sometimes, like the way biblically angels are described, they're nowhere near what they described on a Sistine Chapel, man. When you had the Most High with this great, this Most High had like a bob or some shit, and he was naked as hell with a pink robe on, with a 6-pack, and he was touching tips with a rosy cheeked baby looking angel. That ain't man. All that Cupid nonsense, that's Renaissance art. It's not how the angels look, man. no rosy red cheek babies. And then the Most High is literally flying with a pink garment in the air. No, that's not how they look. Okay, now I'm not denying that the Most High don't have demons that look like this, of course. But when you think of interdimensional beings, these look more like humanoids, man. Okay? Interdimensional guy, a human, and then you got an alien. You see how they distinguish the three? So the angels will be more like the guy in the middle if they come in that form. You know? So interdimensional being, and let's look and see what they say. Extra dimensional being, extra dimensional. Extra D-I-M-E. Extra dimensional. Extra dimensional beings. Pretty much the same thing. You see? Now, let's show what they try to show. Let's look at the Sistine Chapel. I don't know how to spell it. The Sistine. What the fuck? Come on, bro. Like, y'all gotta bear with me, man. I got a loaner phone, man. My other phone was tripping, so this phone is a little smaller. So I'm Sistine Chapel. Which this is all bullshit. This is basically how they want you. This is basically how they want us to view the Most High in the sun. He got this pink guard. He got a goddamn a pink nightgown on, like he's getting ready to get an injection up his ass. And then you got a bunch of naked ass Edomites right along with him, all naked and shit like that. That's not how the Most High. That's not the Most High, man. Okay, that's blasphemy right there. And you got a man right here. I guess it's supposed to be what, fucking Adam or something. Look at him all naked. And he's touching tips with the Most High. Nah, that ain't how it went down. And Esau's gonna pay for that shit. Because the angels and the Most High and Yahweh Shai and the prophets, they were not no goddamn Edomites, man. That's how they want you to believe. But it says here, King James Version, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. But it says that they looked human. So in this form, they looked human. And it says, and everyone had 4 faces and everyone had 4 wings. And except that each had 4 faces and 4 wings. And it says that their legs were straight and their feet had hooves like those of a calf and shone like burnished bronze. Okay, now when you look up burnished bronze, it's a dark color. It's like a brown, dark skin color, which shows that the angels were men of color. Okay, I made a mention of this. It was something called like the supernatural or something. This woman wrote an account. I think she was an Issacharite woman. She wrote an account of these angels or these hybrid beings looking like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. She said they had big afros, they had bushy braids or locks, and they had big bushy beards, man. She said some of them look like Puerto Ricans or Latin tribes. Some look like Negroes. You know, basically, they look like us. Okay, it's a picture also. It was one, I think it was like at the Redskins game. The brother called a footage of what appears to be an angel in the audience. I actually know where is it at, but my mate just post like the I could probably post in the post-production or do like a separate thing on it, because it's a lot to go through and figure it and filter it. But nonetheless, man, it appeared to be an angel from a different dimension. He had a white afro, white beard, and he was just sitting in the stands watching the game, man. It was crazy. This was probably like 4 years ago. All right. But it says here, under each of their 4 wings, I can see human hands. So each of the 4 beings had 4 faces and 4 wings. And the wings of each of the beings touch the wings as beings beside it. Each one moves straight forward in any direction without turning around. Meaning that as he was describing these ships, how they move, how they able to teleport, how they able to go up and down. Hey, it was basically describing this. Okay, Ezekiel had to write it in a form which was familiar to the readers at that time. Okay, but when you read this, you're like, what the hell is this talking about? If you don't know anything about chariots, you know. But this is the point I wanted to make. Verses 17, it says the beams could move in any direction or any of the four directions they face without turning as they move, okay? Because for one thing, in a third dimensional sense, if I want to go left, I have to turn my body left. If I want to turn a car right, I have to navigate the steering wheel to turn right. But in this case, they didn't have to do that because these things operate off telepathy, man. Okay, straight to spirit. This is cold-blooded, man. This is a hell of a power. And guess what? We're going to have these abilities real soon. Mainly when we get in the kingdom. But it says the beings can move in any direction of the four directions they face without turning as they moved. It says the rims of the four wheels were tall and frightening, and they were covered with eyes round about. The eyes goes into like the lights or the windows that you see when the chairs are hoovering and you see like a light going over like around in a circumference. That's what it's talking about, the eyes, man. Okay, and it says, and the living beings move, the wheels move with them. The wheel is the ship, and he's seeing these beings inside the ship. It says, when the living beings move, the wheels move with them. When they flew upward, the wheels went up too. So basically, the angels are controlling this through pure energy, man. Okay, pure energy. You know, as they say, kinetic energy, but pure energy through their spirits, man. Okay, so matter of fact, let's come out of this real quick because that whole chapter is pretty dope. But let's go from here to the book of Hebrews 1. Yep, Hebrews 1, and I'm gonna start at verses 13. It says, but to which of the angels said he at times, sit on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool? It says, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them to them that be heirs of salvation? So these are ministering spirits, they're messengers. Okay, when you go from here to the book of Acts, the first chapter, this phone is different. Acts, the first chapter, 9th verse. And it says here, when he's speaking these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received them out of their sight. A cloud is talking about a ship. Okay, it's not an actual cloud. It's talking about a so-called UFO. And it reads here, it says, and while they looked steadfastly towards heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. Why did it say men? Because those men were actually angels. And it says, which also say ye men of Galilee, why stand ye up gazing into heaven? It says, this same Yahushua which is taken up from you in heaven shall come in like manner as ye seen him go into heaven. And the angels was telling him how the Lord was going to return. You can read about that in Revelation 1 and 7, when it says he come with clouds and all eyes should see him and will. Okay, so hey, there's going to be a so-called alien invasion on Esau's rulership. Okay, but we believe through some form of fashion that he may try to stage some type of invasion through what they call Project Bluebeam, which is basically shining a projector like images off the sky and appear it to be something that's not there, and people are going to fall for it. He can even manifest a white Christ with white angels coming to deliver the people. But see, the scriptures say he would deceive the very elect if it was possible, but it's not possible. Because, hey, we understand that certain events have to take place before this event can happen. So if he just somehow, some way flash an image of white Jesus and these white horses coming to save mankind and people going batshit crazy over it, we not going to fall for it, because we know that prophecies have to take place. We know that the chip has to be passed, martial law, FEMA camps. We know that the missiles have to be shot before that event even take place. Okay, because in order for him to come back and deliver us, the missiles will have to be shot off, because we have to get salvation. Okay, salvation. You see? So let's go from here to Ezekiel 13, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 3. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Because when they saw this ship, it was to the point, like they said, it was so huge to the point Ezra described it as a mountain. It says, and whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth fell up when they feel the fire. Damn. And it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, that was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven. Now this is during the time of the war of Armageddon. All this has happened simultaneously. It says, to subdue the men that came out of the sea, which the sea is symbolic for the sky, the heavens, or the waters, Shemayim. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. And that mountain represents the ship. It says, "But I would have seen the region or place wherewith the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this, behold, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, yet does fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips as a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he casted out sparks and tempests," those laser beams, "and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid." So basically, the Lord took him to that day in the vision, and he saw basically World War III and the invasion of Earth, Yahweh and the angels take place, which is a precept to Revelation 19th chapter. Okay. So yeah, man, this thing is getting ready to go down. Esau is finally declassifying it. He's admitting, okay, yeah, these are angelic beings. We need to get our shit together. But it's too late for you, E. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. Lord's will you edified into the next lesson. Shalom.
That you describe messengers of God, or angels, and so they may not fit exactly the biblical narrative, but whenever I use the term angels, to me it's synonymous with an extra dimensional being.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to That UFO podcast. And joining me for this special update representing the 7th District of Missouri, I have Congressman Eric Burleson. Eric, welcome to the podcast.
See, Missouri, like I said, because it's a very heavy UFO community in this middle of Babylon. Everybody named Mother out here believes in some type of aliens or whatever they call it, but nonetheless, it's a known thing out here in the mid, definitely here in Missouri. So just wanted to throw that out there.
It's great to be on.
Very good to speak to you. I don't think you've done too many of these podcasts yet, so I'm glad to have you. It's been really good getting this set up, and thank you to Ben for helping me get that done. Now, you have given me permission to call you Burley, but I did say that with the accent, that is going to be absolutely brutal for anyone listening to it, but I do appreciate that. Eric, listen, we've got a limited time and I've got a lot to ask you, and I want to try and do this justice for the listeners and viewers who appreciate you being involved in the UFO, UAP topic as you have been. And I just want to know, you've been involved in the topic now from a public point of view for people like myself from the hearings in July 2023. What was your kind of first incline from a political point of view? There was something worth dedicating your time to in Congress on this subject?
Yeah, I would say that I've always been fascinated by the topic, and I've always had a mistrust of government. So when you combine the two of those, that's kind of where my position is rooted from. I've always had a fascination with science and with aerospace and space in general. As a kid, I studied, what I could. In fact, I've attempted to read books on quantum mechanics, and as best as I can without being going to college in that subject, it's something that fascinates me. And so I never thought in a million years when I ran for Congress that this topic would be one that I could be involved with. Being elected official is one where most of the topics are not this interesting. So to me, this subject matter is kind of the icing on the cake. It's a very interesting topic, but I think that it fits within my wheelhouse. My background, I was a software engineer and a project manager in the IT industry, in addition to being an investment advisor. And so I come to things with a little bit more of an analytical perspective. Or within the UFO or the UAP caucus, I'm probably the most skeptical person when it comes to whether or not what we're seeing is extraterrestrial. And so that's kind of the perspective that I come from.